So like I said, I work with outgoing students, so but I'm from St. Louis, so I'm happy to share information about living in the city, about what it's like here. But we have some other guests joining us today. We have Larry Morris from MCISA, which is the Multicultural and International Student Affairs. So I'll let him talk a little bit more about that later, but he'll be a person you probably see more on campus here if you're studying in St. Louis than me. And then we also have Cameron Moore, who is a student who can offer a student perspective here in St. Louis. She's her home campus is here in Webster Groves, but she's studied abroad before, and she's also served as an RA, so she's very familiar with housing and res life and that sort of activity in St. Louis. So we'll try to give you guys some good information. Yeah, so here's the main building when you pull up in Webster Hall that I'm sure you see all the photos of. So you see the first thing a lot of people notice is the flags out front. So this is our main campus, the oldest campus in St. Louis, Missouri, that's been here since 1915. So a lot older than any of our international campuses, but definitely even locally, Webster's kind of known as the university with the international presence, because everybody drives by, this main building and sees all the flags out front.
They're doing steady abroad fair.
Oh. If everybody can mute themselves for now, that'd be great. Thank you. So welcome to everyone joining us. We just got started, so don't worry about being a little bit late. I'm Tyler, study abroad advisor here in St. Louis, and we're here to talk to you a little bit about what it'd be like to study abroad at our main campus in Webster Groves. So if everybody here is Webster students, you're already familiar with academic programs. So almost every major or minor that you're studying, I can't say every, but almost every that you're studying at your home campus is a program that's going to be offered here in St. Louis. So we have the biggest academic offerings at our campus here in St. Louis. So on top of whatever major you're taking, there's a huge range of other programs available. So we offer about 90 undergraduate majors in St. Louis. So there's a lot of courses that are available that you can take. So we have the same, global citizenship program that you have. So there's a lot of courses that you can take that can count for your degree, as well as courses that you can take that are that you can take here that maybe won't be available at your home campus. So I think students that study abroad in St. Louis enjoy the diversity of classes offered, I think is a huge highlight of studying abroad in St. Louis. And we can answer more questions about academics if people have them later. So campus housing, so living on campus in St. Louis. So all study abroad students do have to live in Webster housing when they come to St. Louis. Cameron, do you want to talk a little bit about what it's like living in residence halls or in apartments for students here in St. Louis?
Yeah, sure. So as an international student, you actually have a lot of different options when it comes to living on campus. And then, as it says on the screen, that you rank them when you're applying for housing. So the different types of options, so you have the dorm rooms or you have the apartments. And normally our international students tend to prefer living in the apartments because you do get your own room in a 4-bedroom. So you get your own room and then you share a bathroom with one other person, but you also get a kitchen in a living room, which tends to be exciting for international students, especially because you get kind of more options in terms of what food you eat. And then you don't have to have a meal plan if you live on the apartments. So that's an added thing to think about if you love to cook. Maybe the apartments are more for you, but if you're like, ooh, no, thank you. Our dorms, you are required to get a meal plan. And so you get, I don't know the exact number of like money you get. And then we have 2 dining facilities and you can just go and swipe your card and that'll get you. And those generally international students live in East Hall, which is our upperclassmen dorm. And it's like a suite style. So again, it's 4 rooms and 2 bathrooms. But for the rooms, you can either upgrade to a single, so every room you're in it by yourself, or you can get a double room, where it's a little cheaper and you have a roommate, but it's still like the 2 bathrooms. And when you're living on campus, there's a lot of options for you guys to do. So you'll have a resident assistant on every floor or building you live in. And they are kind of there as your main support system. If you don't really want to go to like the housing office for questions, they're kind of your first point of contact. And they're also students. And so they're pretty knowledgeable about a lot of different things going on. And there's always programs being offered. Even right now during COVID, they're doing like virtual programming and social distance programming. So they're still trying to make it feel as like inclusive and as kind of homey as possible. And then there is laundry facilities in the dorms. They are in the building. And then if you're in the apartments, there's kind of like a little clubhouse, and it has like kind of a little hangout area and then a laundry room. And then laundry is free to all on-campus students. So that's something you guys don't have to worry about as an additional cost, is paying for laundry. It's totally free. And the campus is pretty small. So it's not too much of a walk to any of your classes from any of our on-campus housings. If you're going from like the dorms to the farthest possible way, it's maybe a 10-minute walk. So like through campus, so it's really not anything too bad at all. So yeah, I think I just gave a very long spiel, and I know I talk fast.
Yes.
So any housing questions you have at the end, I'd be very happy to answer. Yeah, I think I covered it all.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Cameron. Thanks. Yeah, and definitely like she mentioned, happy to answer questions about anything you have about studying in St. Louis at the end. Yeah, so moving on. So student life, the cool thing about campus, and a lot of you're all Webster students at our international network, so you are kind of familiar with kind of the North American college experience a bit, with kind of going beyond just your degree program. It's also about the experience, the social life, the extracurriculars, so clubs, activities, athletics. St. Louis is probably like your home campus in that way, except with even more activities going on, just because of the larger student body being the main campus. Athletics are also a big deal at colleges and universities in the United States. So we participate in the SLIAC conference. So there's official athletic league that Webster participates in, that's affiliated with the NCAA, which is a nationwide league. So athletic teams that compete against colleges and universities from all over the country. It's a bit hard for study abroad students to get involved in that, because it's a pretty significant time commitment, but there is intramural sports that you can play recreationally, as well as attending sporting events to watch it, cheer on your classmates, your roommates, and your friends. And then other, Webster has a theater on campus, so there's awesome opportunities for plays, for concerts, for activities. They bring in comedians and lectures and all sorts of things. I'll let Larry talk a little bit more about a lot of cool programming and opportunities that happen here on campus. Larry, you want to take it over and talk a little bit about MCISA and what it's like for an international student here in St. Louis?
Sure. Good. Well, it's morning here in St. Louis, so I'll just say good day to everyone. My name is Larry Morris. I'm the Assistant Director of the Multicultural Center and International Student Affairs here at the home campus of Webster University. I'm going to talk a little bit about our department, because we wear a lot of different hats when it comes to working with our domestic and our international students. The biggest thing that I would love to share with you all is that we're a bridge to the community, and we're the connectors. We kind of are that department that many students come through, and we help them find their paths throughout the institution. All right. So students come in from a different country and they say, I'm looking for a cell phone. How do I get a cell phone? We help students figure out how to get a cell phone. Students come over and they learn about, the driving rules, and we make sure that we get them to the places where they can go to get driver's license. We help students go to the grocery store. We do a lot of different things to make sure that when students get on campus, it's a comfortable situation and you get acclimated to the St. Louis area. We serve as cultural advisors. As Tyler has already said, St. Louis is pretty big. There's a lot going on. And we make sure that we're connected to the community enough to make sure that students know what's going on, not only just on campus, but in the region as well. So that's a big thing that we do. We're cultural advocates. We make sure that we do trainings, diversity trainings and programming, and I'll talk a little bit about programming in a minute, around making sure that we share the narratives and the stories of diverse populations. That's something we're really big about, but we're also big on not only sharing about diverse populations, making sure that we put students in the mind to think for themselves and critically think about the world around them. So that's another piece to what we do. We do things like orientation. So when students come to the home campus, we'll do orientations. We'll have people from the community come in, different banks, different programs and whatnot. And we just get students indoctrinated on the things that they'll need to be here in the St. Louis area. We do this every semester. Now, I must say, due to COVID, a lot has changed right now. So we've been social distancing and whatnot. But I imagine when everything goes back to normal, we'll go back to what we do when it comes to that. We are not the department that can sign off on F1s and J1s and whatnot, but we work with the international recruitment services to make sure that students get those things taken care of. We have a strong partnership with them. So if students come in and they have problems with paperwork and whatnot, we make sure that we funnel them to the right places on campus to make sure that everything is taken care of. We help with tax codes, because when students come over and they stay here for extended periods of time, they have to file their taxes. So we make sure that we have trainings and we get you the codes that you need, because the tax codes in the US just living here is crazy enough. So coming from another place and trying to do taxes, it can be even more complicated. We make sure that we do that. Now, two of the things that we focus on a lot when it comes to the social life is we advise student groups. So myself, I advise our Webster Alliance, our AAAC, Association of African American Collegiates, and I just became the advisor of the International Student Group. So as an advisor, we make sure we guide student groups on the right path on how to make sure that they're getting the right funds for the programs that they're doing. We make sure that they program correctly. If they need guidance on anything when it comes to the institution, we navigate them there. And as Tyler said before, we do a lot of programming. Campus activities in the Multicultural Center, we're pretty much the two big programmers on campus. And so we do a lot of programs around things that we feel help push the narrative of different populations. Like, for example, this year we've partnered with the Osage Nation out of Oklahoma to do a program called Before 1764. And that program is significant because it's about the indigenous tribes of this region. We don't talk about them very often. So collaborating with the Osage to share their narrative, we're doing a program today. We have one at 3 p.m. where Dr. Hunter from the Osage Nation is going to give that history. And we already have 30 people registered online to be a part of that. So we just want to make sure that when you come to the home campus, you're as comfortable as possible. We take on all types of questions. We make sure that we're available to kind of navigate you as you learn the terrain of St. Louis and just being in the United States. And we just want to make sure that everything you need, we can at least point you in the right direction. Because of course, we can't do everything for everyone, but we can at least put you on the path to where you need to be to find the things that you need.
Yeah, great. Thanks. Larry, do you want to keep, I'm more than happy to talk about it too, but I know you're a big St. Louis guy too. You want to talk a little bit about just life off campus? What's it like living in St. Louis? Cool cultural highlights?
Yeah, we can tag team it together.
Sure.
Like Tyler said, I'm from St. Louis as well. St. Louis is a very interesting place because, we're in proximity to like big cities like Chicago, but St. Louis has a very diverse, entertainment and things to do here. There's always something to do. We have some of the largest parks in the United States you can access free, running, working out. Our zoo is ranked the #1 zoo in the country. It's very nice. It's free. You can go into it. We're very big on making things affordable and free in this city. Pre-COVID, because we're going to go back to a world without COVID one day. This is this month, like September is festival month. So we have things like balloon glows and whatnot. We were ranked not too long ago as one of the top 5 food cities in the United States. The food here is diverse. There's a lot of different things that you can do in the St. Louis area. There's always something to do. It just depends on what floats your boat, you know what I mean? Art museums, all of that stuff, you can find it here. It's a smaller town. Again, it's not the size of LA or the size of New York, but St. Louis definitely has that diversity and things to do. And Tyler, you can just chime in on that. So
yeah, for sure. No, I think Larry hit a lot of points. There's a lot of cool cultural things happening in St. Louis. I'm from St. Louis, born and bred as well. And and proud of it. So I'm more than happy to give people suggestions on places to eat, things to do when they're here, that sort of thing. I think too, throughout the year, there's great stuff. Obviously, Larry mentioned there's Festival of Nations is normally right around this time of year, which is an amazing international festival in St. Louis. Different this year, obviously, but you know, moving forward, going back to normal. Throughout the summer, even if you're a summer thinking about coming here for a summer, basically pick a night of the week and there's a free concert in a different park. There's a big barbecue culture here, so a lot of things to do outdoors. So there's a lot of cool things to be involved in St. Louis. It is, like Larry mentioned, you know, Los Angeles and New York, you know, that people have familiarity with some of the major cities in the U.S. from movies, from TV, and that sort of thing. And St. Louis often gets overlooked, but I think it's a city that it's good to have somebody who knows where to go. Maybe the cool things aren't quite so obvious, but they're there. So definitely use your resources when you're here. You know, if you're working with Larry, ask him, hey, what's going on this weekend? Because you know, chances are there's cool stuff going on. There's art shows that maybe you wouldn't stumble upon, but if you know about it, they're there. There's concerts. There's live music if you go to the right places. There's a lot to do in St. Louis.
Like another example is like, we have a very nice botanical gardens that's ranked top 10 in the U.S. as well. They open it up on Wednesdays and it's concerts there, and it's free. You can just go in and listen to the concerts. People bring blankets, and you know, they bring different food items, and they hang out in the botanical gardens. Another piece that I think is crucial for our international students that come here: please be prepared for the weather. St. Louis gets a little bit of everything. The pendulum truly swings here. We do have days where it's gorgeous like right now, and then at the end of the day, it's cold and it's rainy. So just make sure that when you come to St. Louis that you are thinking of the weather, because it's been times where it feels like we've had 4 seasons in one day. So that's a big thing.
Yeah, it's we definitely get cold and hot here. One thing I would preface students on being aware of is coming here, depending on where you're coming from. But if you're coming from one of our other international campuses and you're used to that location, it is likely that far more people drive in St. Louis than drive where you're coming from. It is possible to get around St. Louis without a car, but not many people do it. So just kind of a preface, a heads up. I ride a bike around, but I'm in the minority. There you can get bus passes as a student, but Webster Groves is located as kind of an inner-ring suburb to the city of St. Louis. So there's a lot of things within reach, but it's a little bit more spread out than likely maybe cities that you're used to coming from. So something to be aware of. But like Larry mentioned, you know, MCISA is happy to, you know, offer support on all of those adjustment pieces and get you where you need to go if you need to get a driver's license or something like that. So more than happy to help. So I think we'll go and see if does anybody have any questions?